People often question my sanity when I tell them I want lane filtering legalized here in Colorado. Let me show you a quick example of the benefit of filtering in this video. This motorcyclist is doing filtering correctly. He is riding the line between cars that are going 25 miles an hour or slower, and he's only doing about 10 miles an hour faster than the rest of us. Actually, I've been in this traffic jam for over 5 minutes by this time, and I can tell you, none of us were doing over 15, let alone 25. So, is he cheating, cutting ahead of the rest of us? No. This isn't a race or even a queue. This is a bunch of vehicles waiting for the cars ahead of us to get out of our way. That rider is not only freeing up space for another person in a car to get home faster, he's actually safer while doing it. Let me explain. First, how is that rider helping others get home sooner? Simple. He's getting out of their way. Other cars will treat a bike as just another vehicle, or they'll be more cautious and leave us extra room. While I appreciate that, that means we're taking up space we don't have to if we can filter and get out of the way. Second, and probably more importantly, how is that rider safer filtering than taking up a spot in traffic like I am doing? I know it's counterintuitive, but hear me out. The highest danger a rider faces in stop-and-go traffic is from two sources: the vehicles next to us and the cars behind us. The cars beside us are dangerous because sometimes they don't see us. All they see is an open spot, and they change lanes with little or no warning, and often very aggressively, trying to take up the whole lane as fast as they can. Obviously, that's a problem if the rider can't react in time to get out of the way. More dangerous, at least when we first catch up to a traffic jam, is the car behind the motorcycle not stopping in time and slamming into the rider. In that case, not only do we risk back and neck injuries, but we also risk getting knocked to the ground and run over by that same car, or pinned between two vehicles. So how is filtering safer for the motorcyclist? Obviously, if a rider's on the line moving forward between vehicles, she can't get hit from behind, let alone pinned between two vehicles if the car behind her doesn't stop. That automatically removes the risk of significant injury or death from the cars behind her. The less obvious way it is safer is by greatly reducing the risk of getting hit by the cars to each side. I know, I can already hear the protests. Look how much closer that rider was to the cars beside him. However, think this through. The risk to the motorcyclist isn't how close they get to those cars. It is that the cars will see the space I am occupying but not see me, and jump into the lane with me, trying to take the whole thing as quickly as they can. That's the real danger, getting hit when they come into my lane, not by how close I can pass by them when I go between the lanes. By riding the lines between the cars, I don't have to worry about them seeing me. They will see each other, making the space between them safer for me to pass through. A rider filtering through traffic does have to watch for spaces opening up and allow the traffic ahead of him to make lane changes. But that is the whole point. That rider only has to focus on the next couple of cars ahead of him and watch for open spaces they might want to switch to. In addition, even if the rider does get hit in this situation, it's far more likely to be a glancing blow instead of a full lane change by a car trying to take up the space instead, which would be far more violent as the car is trying to get through and past where the rider actually is. To be honest, this shouldn't even be a debate. The state of California already proved that lane filtering is safer years ago when they legalized it. When statistics were checked a year after the law was changed, California Highway Patrol found that accidents involving motorcycles in rush hour traffic had been reduced by more than 20%. That's just the number of accidents. More importantly, fatal or life-changing injuries were reduced by more than 80%. And those numbers just continued to fall as drivers got used to riders lane filtering. It got to the point that when the California legislature tried to outlaw lane filtering a couple of years back, CHP officially opposed and testified against the change. One final note. Each of these video cuts that you've been seeing as we went through the video is a full minute of my being stuck in this traffic jam. Overall, I was in this jam for more than 20 minutes. Had I been able to filter, I could have cleared this distance in 5 to 7 minutes and been safer doing it. I would have been out of people's way and safer. So please, legalize filtering so I can get out of your way.